Gude, welcome to the second part where we try to revive the grossest EV4000S. In the last episode we took it apart. During the night I cleaned it, so now it's nice and shiny again, the stains are gone. We're almost ready to reassemble it. But one thing I want to fix before reassembling it. This is what I don't get. If you buy an old school instrument like a violin or a saxophone or something like this, the branding maybe is embossed in the instrument, but they never ever actually paint their name in a different color on the instrument. Yeah, that's something I don't like, and I fixed it on the EV5000, and now I'm trying to fix it on this one. But I think they took a different color this time. I threw every chemical I had on it and it stayed bad. With the 5000 you just could use acetone to remove it. The problem is this is ABS and acetone will dissolve ABS, so it's good to do it when they're separated. But this didn't help, and everything else didn't help too. But I had an idea. You see, the paint can't stick on the aluminum when I remove the aluminum. Yeah? Look, we're getting there. Okay, now it's a bit shiny, but that was to be expected. But I know what you're thinking. I think you think I'm overreacting. Because, come on, it's just four names here. Wait a second. Actually, it's 6, because there's another one and there's another one. And you really can tell that they paid designers to design this, because they did the maximum they could do. They have dark gray or blackish color here. They have the silver of this. Then they introduce another color, which is red and black. So they shift, and white of course. So we had a two-colored instrument made into a 5-colored instrument. That's good. Oh, designer worked well. Also, they use like almost for everything a different font type. One typeface and another one. This is different, and this is also another type, another font, right? And then, okay, we have 4 fonts here, and then they have another one, the 5th one, down here. Okay, and this mirrors the other one, but luckily they changed the color, otherwise it would be boring. And that's good, because now we know the graphic designer actually worked really hard for his or her money. I happily remove everything except for this, like I did with the other one. You still know that's an EV, and the form factor and color speaks for itself, because the 5000 is black, the 4000 is silver. The USB has different button layouts, so you can't really mess them up. And this is not like a generic design, so there's only one instrument that looks like this. And if you have to do a little research, if you see it online, then yeah, good. But still, you have the branding here, so you can Google EV and you will find it. So there's no way for this overkill of branding and have it look like a cheap Casio keyboard or something like this. So therefore it has to go. Let me put it this way. Have you ever seen like a grand piano, like a Steinway or something like this? That says Steinway Professional in like red letters on the audience facing side? No, obviously not. It just has like a golden nameplate, and the nameplate is just facing the player and not the audience. So that's subtle, because the audience should concentrate on the music and not be distracted by the design or something of the instrument. The instrument is there to actually produce the sound that's to be enjoyed, and that's all. And like a flashy design all just takes away from the music. And that's another reason this stuff has to go. Rant over. So, and we are 2 hours in the reassembly and still didn't reassemble anything. Look at this. This is beautiful, isn't it? Right. I also just put a fine coat of black over it, so it's not so in your face, but that's more like it. I'm really happy. And this, okay, this is a little shiny. While cleaning it yesterday, I also took a look at the pipe, so the long thing that just is there to vent the air out. And this is the short one that goes to the pressure sensor. And yeah, you know, it's in the theme of the disgusting thing. There's mold in there and everything, so I will just put this away. And luckily I had some fitting tube lying around, so there goes this. The pressure sensor tube isn't that bad because no air is going through it. It's just providing the pressure to the sensor, obviously. So therefore there shouldn't be any stuff in there. But as you see from my last EV5000 video, stuff could get in there, and in this case there also was some kind of particle in there, but I flushed it and this looks fine to me now, so I can reuse this. Sticky. I think this thing was here, right? This should be fine because the distance of the wire is just getting smaller, and the worst when it's changed, but it won't be any longer. It's so sticky. Yeah, this is more like live stream material, isn't it? But if you are bored, feel free to skip ahead or to use the double speed button down below. I think it should be somewhere here. And here's our beloved pressure sensor. It's really great to compare the both EVs, so the old one and the 4000 and the 5000, because on the 5000 I don't think there are any of these big capacitors, and also the pressure sensor is much more smaller, and everything, all the electrical components are basically smaller. I also cleaned the buttons, but you see they are quite worn. But they should still work. I'm tightening those quite well because they are on the bottom and it would be a real shame if they came off. It's better if it's recording, isn't it? Basically, I got the washer and you missed 2 installations, but that will be fine. What you didn't see is that the ground in this room is like 100 years old, and it's made of wooden planks, and in the last 100 years the wood shrinked a bit because it maybe dried up, revealing big gaps between the planks. Big gaps, I mean like gaps between a few millimeters and a centimeter, and it also gets down quite deep between those gaps. Like one time I had to build a contraption out of wire and sticky tape, so double-sided sticky tape, to be able to recover a micro SD card that was dropped down like here, 4 or 5 centimeters in the dusty ground. No fun. But what you can use at home is, if you drop something on a flat surface, like hopefully in your house or home, you will have some flat surfaces. And if you want to find something, quickly just take a flashlight like this, turn it on, and lay it on the ground, and then shine. Just move it left and right, and you see the stuff you're looking for will cast a shadow and will be illuminated, because everything that's sticking out from the parallel bottom will be illuminated. And this method saved me lots of minutes in my life when looking for stuff. It also helps that the LEDs or the flashlights became really inexpensive and bright. And I think I made the one or other video about the LED flashlights. Quite a big fan of them. And having cleaned this instrument, I think the last weeks or months playing this instrument wasn't really much fun. I think it most likely played quite awful, because it was really dirty. Okay, that's just the smell and stuff, but it also was clogged. So I think you needed like more breath to make it work, and it wasn't that responsive like with my EV5000S. That wasn't working that well, because I had some stuff in the tube that goes to the pressure sensor. I don't know how it got there, but it basically blocked the path of the pressure of the air, and therefore the pressure wasn't released that fast, and the sounds kept latching. So you started a sound and you wanted to stop it. You wanted to stop it and stopped blowing into the instrument, obviously. But the sound still kept on playing. That was quite annoying, because only half of the music is making sounds. The other half of making music is actually being silent when needed. And if the instrument doesn't shut up when you want it to, it's more like a bagpipe, and didn't sign up to play bagpipes. Ah, that's the reason. See, when disassembling the device, I got stuck here because I didn't remove the screws. I thought the screws would screw into the plastic directly, but no, that was wrong. The screws obviously need to connect to the PCB to be able to work as a conductor. And therefore, it took me 5 minutes longer to disassemble it. Beautiful. And fail. Or is it a fail? Yes, it's a fail. This is the pressure sensor, and because it's fiddly to put the hose on there afterwards, I will do it now. And so this is also done. So, and next thing is I think I have to install the big PCB with the brain box on here. And if you have a look at it, there dangles a mini USB port on there, which I connected to those two pins. One is labeled plus and the other one is minus, and which are on the opposite side of the battery receptacle. And I think this will be a different video for later. Nice. Now we have to place the other PCBs on there. This is for the top. Those are the octave rollers. And these are the connectors for the power. And I think this is a sensor. This controls the sensitivity of the pressure sensor. I think I didn't try it and I don't have a manual for this. So this will come this way because this has to go here. Yeah, I think I can do this now. Here we go. Okay. So we have two screws down here, and I guess it's those screws because I put them on the bottom. Looking good. Looking good. I think I really should put this tube down here, because otherwise this will be a real pain. Maybe I should have done this before, but we get there. Righty. So we'll put this in first, because I fear that I have to put this in later and this will be really painful. Because, nice, because then there will be the board on top and have no access and screaming and crying. And one interesting fact is, due to the current pandemic, they actually closed all the stores. Meaning I wasn't able to get a new mouthpiece because the stores are closed. And this is really a shame, a pity, but it's okay. It's okay. Just threading in the receptor for the pressure sensor. And you can't, I think you can't mess it up because they are different sizes, so this thing is smaller than the other one, but this is really, really a tight fit. Come on, you can do it. Hopefully without breaking anything. How do they do this? And the next question I'm asking myself is, which screws did I use here? Maybe this one. I will use this for now and we see later if it was the right one or not. And since this is You saw this was way too easy to put it in there. The other one took really effort to get it on there, because the outer diameter of the new pipe, new hose, new pipe, whatever, the outer diameter is the same, but the walls are thinner, therefore the inner diameter is smaller, and therefore it's kind of loosey-goosey. Yeah, and this should do the job. Safe and sound. With cleaning up and adding the next PCB. Righty, looking good. And again, 2 wide spaces or circles indicating the need for a screw, which conveniently was placed on the top. At least that's what I hope. And this was the right one. Okay. This is really heavy. This is all metal here, the rollers. And they are all roll except for the first and the last, because this is to select the octaves. You just put your finger between the rollers and the top contact will indicate the final octave you're playing. So if you play this, you actually just need to touch this, the upper roller, if you want to play the octave, but you put your finger in between those, so you touch those, and then it's easier to snap into the octaves, and if you care. Righty. So the question is, I think I've put everything into place for now. These 2 frames keep our clicky PCB in check. So you could watch the first episode where I take it apart, as I just did, or you can watch me here putting it back together. Oh, that's bad. I should not do this. Right. Theoretically, if you want to reassemble the device correctly, then you should plug in the battery compartment here. This way or the other way, no, this way. First, like half-assed, because you will. So you plug it in here before you put the metal sleeve back on. You see this little guys. If you look at these little guides here, they will block you from sliding it in afterwards, so you have to put it like in there before you put it back together. But since I have this cable here, I don't think I have to do this anymore. We see. Worst case, I have to take it apart again. Align. So I'm looking for the alignment of the putties up here, because I think that's the most important thing that can screw everything up. Secondly, I have to check that I don't damage this stuff down here. And then just trying to put it back together. This is working. This is not working here. Why? Ah, no. Just have to convince it. It has to want to come back together. But obviously, the longer it takes, the less patient I get. Okay, it was blocked by this edge here for now, and now maybe, oh, here we go. One step. And now it comes together all by itself without any force. Nice. Now we just press it. Clack. And now it looks like an instrument, does it? Okay, these are way more screws down here than they are there. I think I found the first 4 I need to put in there. Come on. The reason is you see the scars up here. The top of the screws left them there. So you know that there was a screw in there. Okay, then remember this one. This also cost me 5 minutes. I don't think it has to be bulletproof, but it shouldn't get loose over time. I think it was like this. Maybe not, maybe it was. Without the dust and without the fingerprints. Steady, like this. Alrighty. This is a really short screw. I told you it's too short. Yeah, that's a little better. So I think the most disgusting screw was up here, next to the source of the saliva or whatever did ruin it. Okay. I'm curious with how many screws I will end up at the end. Yeah, I have to take it apart anyway soon, because the 2 screws I was wondering about where they belong are the 2 screws that were rattling in there because the strap connector wasn't there. But since I can't get any spare parts right now, I have to live with that for now. But maybe... Oh, they don't connect to anything. 2, 3. Here we go. Since this is plastic, you don't want to over tighten your screws, do you? Okay, this is metal on plastic. That's even worse because the screw can bite down harder and damage. Hey, so last two, and I guess those two belong up here. Here we go. So you ask, what do we do about this? I can't play it right now. I could use the mouthpiece. You say maybe, okay, I was cleaning it for like half an hour, and if you look inside, you see that is why I won't use this mouthpiece. Also, I destroyed it by drilling it. But what can we do? Fits like a glove. Shada! It's not gross anymore. But does it work? Right. It works. Almost. There's potential for more. Thanks for sticking around. Don't be afraid to take things apart, but be responsible. And see you next time. Bye.